All righty, today is October 30th. This is week 8 of NHA. This is our eighth Thursday class. And so we have 13 weeks of class time together in the first semester, 15 weeks in the second semester. And so we are well past the halfway mark for semester number one with five more classes, 5 more weeks of classes. So 10 more classes total because we have two classes per week. And so we are going to do lessons 33 and 34 today. So grab the sheets that I handed you on Tuesday and we will jump right into things. Now, as I told you on Tuesday, the work is going to actually get to me a little bit easier. I feel like the stuff we did the last week and a half has been some of the toughest stuff we've done all year, which is good. It's good to challenge our thinking, challenge what we do, and such. And so, kind of a new chapter, a new idea, new concepts, and we're going away from the percents and the fractions and the decimals and all how all those are related to each other. And we're going to be going into unit conversions. Now, a unit is just a form of measurement. So you have core the standard metric, our standard American system, inches and feet and pounds and things of that nature. Then you have the metric system, which is a fully different unit of measurement. And so we'll eventually get into converting one entire unit of measurement into another entire unit of measurement. But that'll be later. All we're going to do today is convert from one, it's all under the same umbrella of measurements, and it'll be from like feet to inches to yards to miles because those are all connected to each other. And so let me let Poppy on here. She's jumping on right now and give her a second to jump on, and then we'll get started. All right. So let me. All right. So let's look at number one. Let me pull the whiteboard up here. Uh, and I like to do this so it makes it. That's the one I like because it gives the video a little bit bigger. All right. So if you look at it, it says number one, it says convert 8 feet to inches. I want you to write something down. If you go from a larger unit of measurement to a smaller unit, you are going to multiply. Okay? If you go from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you're going to divide. I want you to write something of that nature down. So if you're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you're going to divide. Then you're also going to need to kind of memorize the conversions. Okay. They've written them up in the parentheses for you, but these wouldn't be bad for you to memorize. Okay. So let's go ahead and show you what I mean by all that. Excuse me. In number one, it says convert 8 feet into inches. So I'm going from a foot is a larger than a inch, right? Like for example, if you're 6 feet tall, you're 72 inches, right? So a foot is a larger unit of measurement. I might have a tape measure here. Yeah, here's a tape measure. So on my tape measure here, we have all those right there are inches, and then we get to 1 foot right there. So 1 foot is 12 inches. So that's 1 foot or 12 inches. So it says convert 8 feet into inches. Okay, so I need to go, I'm larger to smaller. We know larger to smaller is multiply. So we have 8 feet, and we know there's 12 inches in a foot. So this 12 here is how many inches there are in a feet. I'm going from a foot to an inch measurement, so I'm going to multiply, and 8 times 12 is 96. So the answer to number one is 96. There are 96 inches in 8 feet. 96 inches and 8 feet. Count of three if you know if that makes sense to you. Give me a thumbs up. If you're lost, a thumbs down. And if you're still a little confused, put the pointer finger this way. On the count of three, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, and like I said, this is not as difficult as the things we were. Well, Giselle's coming on. All right. And if you're having struggles, you really just need to focus on what we're doing and just grasp the concepts here. Okay, so now we're going to do the next one, and it says number 2, convert 13 yards into feet. So I'm going from a yard to a foot. Well, we know there's 3 feet in 1 yard, so a yard is a larger unit of measurement, right? So anytime you have a larger to a smaller, you multiply. Okay, larger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. And the units go from smallest to largest is that we use here is inches, feet, yards, and miles. These are all under the same umbrella of measurements. Okay, inches, feet, yards, miles. Okay, and they have the little, conversion factors there in the parentheses for you. So we say in number 2, 13 yards. And then if you don't remember, you can look up in your conversion method, there's 3 feet per yard. So here we just go 13 because that's the measurement they gave us. And we're going from a larger to a smaller. It's times 3. Larger to smaller is times, smaller to larger is divide. So our answer here is 39. Okay. And number 3, I want you to do number 3. I'll write it out for you. You can send me over an answer. We're going to go from miles to yards. Larger to smaller, that's going to be times. We're going 5 miles to yards. Look at your conversion. How many yards are in 1 mile? And you can write that number right here. It's a 4-digit number. Multiply those two together. Send me over an answer once you got it. You can send it to the chat. I'm going to start working on it right now while you're still working. And that should be the answer that you get. There's 5 miles, and for every mile, there's 1,760 yards. So 5 times 1,760 is 1,760 times 5 is 8,800. I got the comma in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. On this little board that I write on, you just kind of got to guess where you are because you don't see it on the board. So you write on the board. See, I just on the board, if I just write, that's how it works on the screen. You can see that. So I missed the comma there. So yeah, that's the answer. All right. Let's do, okay, so here's our first one. We're going to go from a smaller to a larger. It says 60 inches to how many feet is that? Okay, so we have 60 divided by, well, there's 12 inches in a foot, so divided by 12. 12 goes into 60, I think 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. 5, 6. So yeah, 5 feet. There's your answer. All right. Now, those aren't too terribly difficult. I think you grasp those concepts. Now we're going to go a little bit harder for number 5 through 8 because they're going to have a few different things for you to do. It says answer each question below. Write your answer as a whole number or a decimal. So they want you to write it as a decimal if there is if it doesn't terminate at the one's place value. So there's a couple things you're really going to have to put your again. This is not as difficult as the things that we've done the last week and a half, but there is a couple things that you really just have to wrap your brain around, and I'll get to those as we get to the problems that have. Matter of fact, okay, let's do this. Let me show you something, and then you're going to understand why this is. You got to be careful to do this this way. It says 4 feet 9 inches, and I could say 4.9. It says 4 feet 9 inches plus 7 feet 3 inches. Now you might want to do it this way, but I'll show you why that's not going to work in a second, okay? Does anyone want to jump on and say what my problem is already, why this isn't going to work? This is not the answer, by the way. And you think, well, Mr. Soto, why did you and I'll show you two different ways to do it. Why would this not be the answer? Well, because if you think about it, 4.9, there are 12 inches in a foot. So 4.9, 0.9 doesn't represent 9 inches in a foot because look, there's a total of 12. So let me show you, there's two different ways to do this, okay? I'm going to add my feet up together here, then add my inches together, and then you'll see why. I got 12.2 on that, didn't I? I don't think that's going to be the right answer, but I'm going to show you why it's not. So I have 4 feet, 9 inches, and 7 feet. I need to be 7. 7 feet, 3 inches. Now I need to add the inches up together. 9 and 3 is 12 inches. 7 and 4 is 11 feet. But look at, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So this whole amount is going to equal 1 foot. So now I'm going to convert the inches into feet. That's 1 foot. 11 feet and 1 foot are 12. So our answer is actually 12 feet, not 12.2 feet. Okay, on this problem and this problem alone, do we understand how that works and why the 12.2 is not correct and why the 12 is correct? On the count of 3, give me a thumbs up if that makes sense, or a thumbs down if you're still a little confused. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, I'll show you another way to do it, okay? If you wanted to do it this way, you could. You could say 4 and 9/12 plus, because it's 9 inches in 12, 9 inches of 12 inches, right? That's where the 12 comes from here, because there's 12 inches in a foot, plus 7 feet, 3 inches, okay? Now watch what happens here if you do this. The denominators are the same. You add the numerators. 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 over 12, 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 and 12/12. Well, 12/12 is one more, right? So you just add the 1 onto the 11 and you get 12. Either way. So both ways you can do it. You can either make this a fraction like this and just do, this is 5th grade addition. You did this a year or 2 or 3 years ago whenever you were in the 5th grade. Just, you can do it that way, or you could just separate, add all the feet together, add all the inches together, convert the inches into feet, put them together. All right. So for number 6, it says 13 inches plus 4 feet. They want you to answer in inches. Okay. They want inches for the answer. Answer in inches. Okay. So all I'm going to have to do then is just, this is already in inches. I'll leave it the same. I'll convert this 4 times 12, just like we did in 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going from feet to inches. A larger to a smaller is multiplying. 4 times 12 is going to be 48, I believe. And 13 plus 48, if my math is correct, is 61. Should be 61 inches. They've asked you to do it in inches. Okay. All right, let's do this. For number 7, I'll do number 7 for you, then I'll have you do number 8, okay? And we'll do it together, actually. Okay, it says they want us to add 2 feet and 3 feet 6 inches, okay? And they want us to make it a decimal. So again, in your mind, what you're going to want to do is this. You're going to want to say, well, 2 plus 3 is 5, and my answer should be 5.6. But again, it's not. I'll show you why. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the same thing we did with the decimal and the fraction. I mean, for the number 5. So I have 2 feet plus 3 feet 6 inches, 6 over 12. Okay. Well, we know, let's just reduce 6 over 12 now to 1/2, right? You all understand that 6 over 12 and 1/2 are the same? So we have 2 feet plus 3.5 feet. Well, let's take the half and turn it to a decimal. So 3 feet 6 inches as a decimal is 3.5. So 2 plus 3.5 is going to be 5.5. Because they've asked me to write it as a decimal in specific, they've specifically asked me to do that, 5.5 is the correct answer. Okay, do you understand that? Yes, if you do. Thumbs up if you do. Thumbs down if you do not. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, so that's really the yeah. Okay, let's do this. Why don't you try to do number 8? It's not as hard because there's no conversion like this one because they're just going, they want you to be in inches. So you just have to turn your feet in inches into inches, and your other inches are already in inches. Give me an answer for number 8. So add 27 inches to 5 feet 1 inch. Okay. 27 inches remains the same. Take the 5 feet, a larger to a smaller, that's 60. But it was 5 feet 1 inch to begin with. So the 5 feet is 60 plus the 1 is 61. So 27 plus 60 plus 1, 88 is the correct answer. All right, if you got that. All right, number 9. Again, a little bit easier than what we did last week, which is nice, and even Tuesday. The 4-foot tall mayor wears the biggest top hat in town, which is 20 inches high. How many inches tall is the mayor plus his top hat? He's not the tallest guy around, so he's 4 feet plus his 20-inch high top hat. And they want us to know how many inches is the mayor plus his top hat. Let's convert the mayor from feet to inches, larger to smaller. That's multiplying. 4 times 12 is 48. 48 plus 20, 68. All right. I'm going to let you do number 10 on your own. Turn the page to the next one. More of the same. Okay. They got your unit measurements up at the top. So your conversion tables. And so let's go ahead and do this. Now they're actually taking the order of what they're asking you, they're reversing the order, but you're still going. You still have to ask yourself, am I going from larger to tall to smaller or smaller to larger? Okay. So in this one, it said, in on lesson 33, it said, convert this to this. Okay. Now look how they're wording this. They're different. They're saying, how many inches are in 4 yards? Okay. How many inches are in 4 yards? Okay. I'm still going from yards to inches, a larger to a smaller, so it's multiplying. They've just kind of reversed the order. What are you going from? What are you going to? Larger to smaller is multiply, smaller to larger. So 4 yards to inches. So I have 4 yards times, well, there's 36 inches in a yard. Because if you say, well, doesn't it say that up there? Well, there's 12 inches in a foot, and there's 3 feet in a yard. So 12 times 3 is 36. So you went from inches to feet, feet to yards. So inches to yards. Let me give you an illustration of that because it's my job for you to understand. So let's show you. Inches to feet is times 12. Feet to yards is times 3. So inches to yards is times 36. So 36 times 4. There's your answer. 4 times 36 is 144. Does it make sense? Well, let's see. I got my tape measure here. Am I doing the right way? Okay. Okay. And by the way, you could go, there's a couple different things you could do. Yeah, all the way to the end here, probably. This is probably 12. Oh, this is 25 better, actually. Uh, okay, look here. 12 feet, 144 inches. See the 144 in the red? 12 feet. So 4 yards is 12 feet, right? And 12 feet is 144 yards. All right. Cool beans. Oh, fun, fun, fun. Okay, so now look at number 2. It's taking the same approach as lesson 33. So in number 1, it was a question, how many? Number 2, it says convert 6 miles to feet. Okay, so a mile has 5,280 feet in it. So you're just going to multiply 5,280 times 6. Okay. You say, well, it doesn't say that in the conversion. Well, we have 1,760 yards. Oop, Alexis left and now she's coming back. She was very mad at us. times 3 is where we get the 5,280 from. So we go feet to yards, yards to miles. Okay. And that's where you get 5,280. So it's basically 6 times 1760 times 3. Okay. And you can multiply in any order you want to. You could even go 1760 times 18 if you want to. Let me show you on my calculator. Remember, order doesn't matter. 5,280 times 6, 31,680. Let me show you also, you could go 6 times 3 times 1760. Okay, same exact answer. 6 is the number of miles, then there's 3 feet in a yard, and there's 1,760 yards in a mile. So to go from 6 miles, how many feet is that? It's 31,680 feet. So where you can even do this. 18 times 1760. The 18 is the number of miles times 3, the number of feet in a yard is 18. 18 times 1760 is 31,680. All right. So your order doesn't matter, but that is how you do that. Okay. So number 3, it says this. How many miles are in 21,120 feet? Okay. So we could do one of several things. We're going 2 miles. We're going from feet to miles. Smaller to a larger, so we're dividing. Okay. So we could go, let's do it this way. Well, we know there's 5,280 feet in, I know this looks like hard division, right? But I'm going to show you a couple things that might make it easier for you. Okay. 5,280 feet into 21,120 miles. I had it missing a 1 there. All right. Okay. Okay, so here, anytime you have a 0 here and a 0 here, you can reduce those. That's a mathematical principle. So I have 528 into 2,112. And let's just, again, the way you do a long division problem is you could ask yourself, you kind of guess on numbers on long division. Remember how we did that in the 6th grade and the 5th grade? How many times would this 5 go into this 21? Well, how many times this 5 goes into 21 could be the same number of times that 528 would go into 2112. So let's try that number. 5 into 21 would probably go 4 times. Let's see if it works. Sometimes in this long division, it's a little trial and error. I understand. 4 times 8 is 32. Now that looks nice, doesn't it? 4 times 2 is 8. 9, 10, 11. 11. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 1 is 21. Hey, look at that. 21, 1, 2 minus 21, 1, 2, 0. Your answer is 4. In 21,120 feet, there are 4 miles. Again, you could do it easier if you wanted to. You could, a couple different things you could do. You could go 21,120 divided by 3 to start with, and you would go at 7, 21, 0, 4, 7040. Okay. Then you go 1760 into 7040. Again, same principle. You can drop a 1 and then 1 there. How many times does the 17 or 176 into 704? Well, since this is almost 200, you might want to round that to a 2 into 8. Let's just try 4 again. That'd be 24. This 7 times 4 is 28 plus 2 is 0, 30 actually. 4 plus 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7. And there again, you get 4. That's the hardest one we've done today, but I think we can get that. Okay, so let's try number 4, much, much easier. Okay, you can do this one. That number 3 was tough. Good thing you got Mr. Soto to help you. I want you to try 4. How many feet are in 3 yards? So 3 yards, 2 feet. Okay, yards to feet. I'm going larger to smaller. That's a times. How many feet are in a yard? Well, that's 3. 3 yards into feet is going to be 3 times 3, which is what? 3 times 3 is 9. The answer to number 4 is 9. All right. Anybody a little bit lost, a little confused? Need me to slow down? All right, so the next one's going to be even tougher. We're going to say 126,720 inches into miles. Are you asking me to slow down a little bit, Josh? Is that what that means? Okay. So we are going to go from inches to miles. Okay. We're going to need to convert a lot here. Okay. So let's first go inches to yards, yards to miles. Is that okay? Inches to yards, yards to miles. Okay. So let's go inches to yards first. We go inches, feet, yards, miles. And those conversions are up there. Inches to yards is 36, right? Smaller to larger, that means we are going to divide. So let's do this. 126,720 Okay. See the top there? 126,720 divided by 36. Why did I divide by 36? I'm on a journey to go from inches to yards. And then when I get that, I'll go from yards to miles. This conversion rate is up on your conversion factors, right? It's up on the top of your page. This is inches to yards is dividing by 36. Smaller to larger, an inch is smaller than a yard, so I have to divide. 126,720 divided by 36 gives me 3,520. So now I have 126,720 inches is actually 3,520 yards. I'm halfway home, but I still need to go to miles. So from yards to miles is 1760 divided by. So 1760 into 3520. Again, a 0 and a 0, you can just cancel those out. 176 into 3520, that just looks like twice as much to me. Let's try it. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. 352 minus 352 cancels out to 0. Here's our answer right there. I went from 126,720 inches to yards, which is 3,520 yards. 3,520 yards is to miles is just 2 miles. The answer is 2. All right. Why don't you try number 6? It's 23,760 feet, 2 miles. I would just divide it by 5,280, honestly. Letting Kieran from the next class join early. All right. 2376 divided by 528. 2376 divided by 528 is 4.5. On these long division, I don't mind you using a calculator because you still have to know how to work them out. And so, yeah, 4.5 is the correct answer on that one. All right. Well, Kieran, we're still in pre-algebra. You're more than welcome to hang out with us for 5 more minutes, and then we'll have a 15-minute break till the next class. And if you have some questions, then you can ask me, or if you're just on early, Kieran, that's fine as well. Let's do this. We have um, about 5 more minutes here. Let's go ahead and have you try to do number 7 now. How many inches are in 13 yards? I'm sorry, we're going yards, 13 yards, 2 inches. Again, they're gonna reverse that sometimes on you when they ask a question versus make a statement. When they say convert this to this, that's a statement. And oftentimes when you ask a question, you invert those things. So make sure you lay it out correctly first. I'm going from 13 yards, 2 inches, a larger to a smaller. That's a times. Yeah, there you go. That's correct. Perfect. Number 8. So it's 13 yards to inches. Going from a larger unit to a smaller is multiplication. 36 because there's 36 inches in a yard times 13 because there's 13 yards. 36 times 13, 468. So 3.75 miles into feet. Number next. For miles to feet, larger, smaller, that's times. So I'm going to go 3.75 times, I'm just going to go to 5,280. We already know that measurement's there. Even though they didn't give us that one, we've already figured that one out. So there's 5,280 feet in a mile. So 5,280 times 3.75. Again, on these long division and long multiplication, I don't mind you using a calculator. I have 5,280 times 3.75. And there's your answer right there. All right. Let me just make sure you know how to do 9 and 10. You're on your own for 9 and 10 on the back page also. Okay. It says, how many miles are in 348,480 inches? That's going to be a tough one because it's going to be long. I would go inches to feet, feet to miles. So I'd go 348, or 34848. I'm sorry, 348480. I would divide that by 12. Whatever that answer is, I'd divide by 5,280. Then that would be your answer. All right. Then number 10, a family has 320 miles left on their flight. How far is this in feet? All you have to do is multiply 320 times 5,280 for number 10. Okay. Because we're going from miles to feet, that's multiplication. A larger to a smaller is multiplication. A smaller to a larger is division. All right. That being said, we have about 30 seconds left. Anybody have any questions? All right. Well, we'll call that a class period. Now, anybody who's having difficulty, I am recording this and it will be up on the YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to review and you can go over it again, watch something again if that helps you. Okay, I think we're missing just one student. We're missing Lily right now. And then Leo the lion, somehow, some way has been AWOL, but we'll find him when he's around again. So, all right, anybody have any last minute questions? All right, peace out. We'll see you on Tuesday.